Hi, I'm William, and today we will focus on touring, Vario and more. Today is all about our gearing options, as we have one or two to choose from. But don't be overwhelmed by the huge selection. Our development team have chosen the optimal gear options for each model, based on the intended use of the bike, the type of trips you will take, and the terrain you will travel over. We usually offer 2 to 3 options per model to accommodate your needs perfectly. Let's look at the gears. Starting with derailleur gear systems, which we call touring. This is probably familiar as no other gear system is fitted more frequently on bicycles. The gears are changed using a gear shifter on the handlebar. When you change gear, the chain shifts on the rear wheel cassette from one sprocket to the next, changing the pedaling resistance. The higher the gear, the more power is required to drive the crank. A lower gear is therefore a good idea on hills and a higher gear on the flat. You should not shift gears under too much pressure, otherwise the gearbox may suffer. A well-maintained, meaning clean, lubricated and correctly adjusted derailleur gear system has the best efficiency of all transmissions. This means that it optimally converts the muscle power used into forward motion. This is particularly interesting if you want to travel fast or go on long tours, which explains the term touring that we use for these kinds of gears. Thanks to its higher efficiency, an e-bike with a derailleur gear can also be ridden quite easily without motor support, if, for example, the battery is empty or you are traveling faster than the motor supports. Even with S-Pedal X, the maximum assisted speed of 45 km/h is easiest to achieve with derailleur gears. Our touring models are equipped with Shimano Deora, Deora XT, Qs or microshift derailleurs. Shimano's Deora range has proved itself for many decades and has been continuously optimized and developed since its launch. It impresses with its tried and tested technology, excellent reliability, high-quality workmanship and ease of use. The microshift gear system is comparable to the Shimano Deora series and provides 10 gears. With the Shimano Qs gear system, the service life of the chain and sprockets is increased thanks to design measures such as link glide technology, which significantly reduces signs of wear. Nonetheless, derailleur gears are the most maintenance-intensive type of gears, simply because the mechanism is on the outside and therefore exposed to the weather. The chain must be regularly cleaned, maintained and replaced. And the sprocket cassette also wears over time. A note at this point. The service life is dependent of the correct care of the drive unit, and the most important point is the correct use of the gears. Let us visualize this. You are driving a car and roll up to the traffic lights in a high gear, disengage the clutch, shift into first, and drive off again. That's quite logical. You would not drive off in third or fourth gear because that would cost a lot of energy and put undue strain on the clutch and gearbox. Unfortunately, this is exactly what happens to many e-bike users. The powerful motor and the various support levels make it possible to ride in a gear that is set too high. But, as with a car, this is also a problem for the drive unit of the e-bike. Too much force on the chain and sprockets leads to rapid wear and higher energy consumption. It is therefore advisable to shift into the starting gear in good time before stopping when using derailleur gears. Let's move to the next category, gear hubs. Gear hubs, or internal gear hubs, are closed systems, so the gears are protected from moisture and dirt at all times. They are renowned for being low maintenance. In contrast to derailleurs, the shifting process does not take place on an external chain, but by various gears inside the hub on the rear wheel axle. With our bikes, it is most often not a chain that provides propulsion, but a carbon belt. In keeping with the overall system, the belt is also low maintenance and durable, as well as being lightweight and quiet running. Unlike a chain, it does not accidentally stain clothing, as it does not need to be oiled. The belt can simply be cleaned and then treated with silicone spray, if necessary. Gear hubs are generally heavier and slightly more expensive to purchase than derailleur gears. But the follow-up costs due to maintenance and wear are lower. And a very big advantage of gear hubs, they can be shifted when the bike is stationary. So after stopping, you can select a better gear for when you have to start again. We have several gear hubs in our portfolio. Firstly, there is the Enviolo gear hub, which we call Vario due to its high variability. Instead of lots of complex cogs and components, the Enviolo gear hub uses rotating and incline adjustable spheres that are positioned between 2 discs. You always ride with a perfect gear ratio without any gaps between shifts, which makes shifting a very smooth process. Thanks to the lack of gear jumps, the riding comfort is increased compared to conventional gear changes. The cyclist display on the handlebar indicates the shifting direction. I think that doesn't need any further explanation. Increased friction results in a loss of power compared to an optimally maintained derailleur system, but the electric drive compensates this. With an empty battery or when cycling beyond the assisted speed, the bike is a little harder to pedal compared to a derailleur system, and the assisted 45 km/h for S-pedelecs are harder to reach. The Vario can be used for a wide range of applications, but this type of gear is best for urban use, so short distances and many stops. The automatic gearing system, the Enviolo Automatic, offers even more comfort. It is similar to the Vario version but shifts gears automatically. Whether on a slope, on a flat road or at traffic lights, the system finds the right gear on its own. The gearing system and the motor work together efficiently. The automatic offers the greatest freedom among the transmissions. Choose your optimum pedaling rate once and never think about it again. If necessary, the cadence can also be adjusted on the display at short notice. The advantages of automatic are also best realized in urban areas. The difference to the Vario is that you no longer have to pay attention to the gear system. The next gear hub is called Silent. Under this term we summarize the Shimano Alpine or Nexus 8-speed gear hub. With these variants you can shift smoothly and silently via a twist grip or gear shifter on the handlebars. As with all gear hubs, you can also shift when stationary. You should not shift gears under full load while riding, but a brief moment when you take the power off the pedal is enough. Compared to the two Enviolo options, the Shimano hub gears are slightly lighter and more efficient. They therefore have a lower power loss. This gear hub is also best suited to the conditions in the city. The Shimano Nexus is also installed in the Rücktritt option. The features are identical to the Silent version apart from the braking system. In addition to the usual front and rear brake, there is a third, the coaster brake, called Rücktritt in German. If you pedal backwards, the brake kicks in and your hands remain free, making it easier to give a hand signal when slowing down or riding downhill. Last but not least in the gear hub category, the Rohloff. In this absolute premium version, the electronic Rohloff E14 works in combination with the e-shift function of the Bosch motor. This means that both systems work hand in hand to make the shifting process easy, precise and efficient. Using two buttons, the gears are shifted within less than 180 milliseconds at a performance of 526%, meaning the ratio of the lowest to the highest gear. No gear shifting system is currently faster. The Rohloff gear system has the highest efficiency of all hub gear systems and is ideal for commuting or touring. This makes it a good choice for S-pedelecs. In multi-shift mode, 3 gears can be shifted at once. This allows you, for example, to quickly change from a high gear to a low gear on a hill. The Rohloff E14 also works when stationary. However, this is not always necessary because when the auto downshift function is activated, the Rohloff automatically shifts back to the starting gear that you have chosen. In terms of price, this is our most premium offer. But as with other gear hubs, they benefit from low maintenance requirements. The last category I would like to introduce is Singlespeed. This variant actually only has one gear. This has advantages in terms of weight, wear and maintenance. The design takes center stage here, with the carbon belt discreetly taking a back seat. The benefits of single-speed models truly come into their own when riding on flat terrains. To summarize, a few basic questions are crucial when choosing the transmission. In which terrain and topography do I want to ride, and how fast? How much time do I want to invest in maintenance? Factors such as weight and price also play a role, but these 3 questions already indicate a clear tendency. Derailleur gears are a great choice if you want to go fast. They are the most efficient option with the highest level of efficiency. At the same time, this gear type also requires the most maintenance and needs to be cleaned and replaced regularly. The hub gear, in combination with the belt drive, on the other hand, is very low maintenance and durable, but also heavier than the derailleur gear. It is ideal for people who want to enjoy a relaxed ride and don't want to worry too much about the transmission. There are different types of gear hubs. Vario impresses with its continuous and intuitive range of gears. Automatic offers even more comfort thanks to the automatic shifting process. Silent and Rücktritt are smooth running and reliable. And Rohloff stands out with its technology and has the highest efficiency of all gear hubs. Finally, the single-speed option is ideal for design fans who are riding in flat and urban areas. There's no other setup with less maintenance. One last thing. Using the gears optimally will also maximize your range. The faster you pedal, the further you will get. Pedaling frequencies above 50 RPM optimize the efficiency of the motor. Very slow pedaling, on the other hand, tends to drain the battery. That's it so far from me, on our wide range of different gears. If for whatever reason you were not able to memorize all the options, you can also find an overview on the gear variants on our website. If you still have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Thank you for your attention, ride safe, and see you next time.